Hey guys, I'm learning TFT. In this video, I'm going to go through an anomaly analysis. This has been highly requested in the comment section of my previous videos. Fortunately, Spencer recently updated a tier list for the anomalies, which we can use to as a springboard for this analysis. This was updated 7 days ago, and there's a new patch 13.5 coming out tomorrow, I believe, which will make some changes to the anomalies, but for the most part, this will allow us to do a deep dive. So before I get into that, I want to talk about kind of high-level concepts with the anomalies, and then also talking about the 13.5 changes. Then we'll go into kind of Spencer's tier list, and we can also look at the best anomalies by unit. And this is all on the Meta TFT under stats and anomalies page. So some notes or tips for anomalies is I believe that they can start repeating after 12 rolls. So really you want to make sure you don't underestimate the value of your gold. Keep in mind that a silver augment could be somewhere between 10 to 15 gold in value, like Silver Spoon's 10 XP, Placebo Plus is 15 gold. So one way of thinking about this that Marcel P suggested is consider, would you rather have a just good enough augment or just good enough anomaly with an additional silver augment in value worth of gold, or would you rather have a really good anomaly but lose out on a silver augment? So that's one way to think about that. Another consideration when you're thinking about the value of the gold is, are you strong and healthy enough to go for a fast 9? If so, that gold is much more valuable to you, and you can cap out your board with legendaries and stronger units so that you don't need to have as strong of an anomaly. So picking the first good enough anomaly is a really great way to preserve gold. Another thing that I just thought of is, are you playing reroll or are you playing like a fast 8 strategy? Reroll is more reliant on anomalies, since the percentage of your team's impact from that one 3-star unit is much higher. And so in that case, you are far more willing to spend more gold on finding a more ideal anomaly. So an example of that might be, let's say Urgot reroll. So you have an Urgot 3 or you have a Smeech 3, then finding something like Stone Skin on your Urgot or Last Chance or something that helps Urgot a lot is significantly more valuable than, let's say, if you're playing a fast 8 scrap strategy and you have multiple carries, or let's say you're playing sorcerers and you have multiple carries. So if you have dual carry with like a strong tank, you can afford to be more or less picky with your anomaly. Whereas if you are playing reroll and most of your team's power is in 1 or 2 units, then you likely want to be more picky with spending gold on your anomaly. Another key idea is that you ideally want to have your main carry or tank buy the anomaly round, especially if you're playing fast 8. There have been games where, let's say I'm playing fast 8 strategy and I get to the anomaly round and I suddenly realize I don't have any units that I really want to put the anomaly on. So related to that is, and this can help you both save gold and in the case that you don't have your main carrier tank, is really make sure that you know what the good generic anomalies are that you can play in any comp, especially if you don't have your main carrier tank yet. And so we'll talk about what those good generic anomalies are. You ideally want to have at least 10 gold for the anomaly round. That means, and keep in mind, I don't believe you can sell your bench units during the anomaly selection phase. So sometimes it's worth it to sell some of your bench units if they're not, like, let's say they might be a next in, or it's like a pair of a 3-cost shitter unit. Like, I sometimes would just sell it if I'm low on gold, just to give me more optionality on the anomaly round. Because if you think about like having completely whiffing on your anomaly versus hitting a 2-star trait bot, like which one's more valuable, right? Another consideration that Rainplosion really, I noticed watching her VODs, is can you play for first? And if you can play for first, then you can consider if you've high rolled a 5 cost by the anomaly stage, especially if it's a very impactful 5 cost and you have items for them. And this oftentimes is like coincides with you going fast 9 if you're healthy. Then you can consider using the anomaly on the 5 cost. This will oftentimes be weaker in stage 4 and early stage 5 until you hit your 2-star 5 cost. But if you are able to hit that 2-star 5 cost with the anomaly on it, then you have win out potential. So part of this is also scouting the lobby, seeing how high tempo the lobby is, and whether you can survive long enough to be able to get to level 9 to 2-star your 5 cost. And then also, even if you are able to do that, does anybody have an Exodia line? Like, is somebody hitting 10 Rebel? Does someone have an insane Chem Bearing cash out, etc.? So if those conditions are true, then you would be far less likely to put an anomaly on your 5 cost. And then related to this is if you are low on HP and low on gold, you should not be putting an anomaly on your 5 cost. I've made the mistake of doing this many times. And then in that case, you're just really increasing your variance, most likely going 7th or 8th, and not really having a high AVP as a result of doing that. So some changes in 13.5 before I get to Spencer's tier list. Center of the Universe was nerfed, Diving In was nerfed, Infectious Anomaly nerfed, Last Chance nerfed, Titan of Teamwork was buffed, Touch of Frost was buffed, Vampiric Affinity buffed, and Voracious Appetite nerfed. So with all of that said, let's go into Spencer's tier list. And I'll just first go through like the S and A tier that stand out here, just for the tier list, and then I'll go into units and kind of cross-reference that with my own notes as well. So these are going to be the generally strong anomalies that you want to take for the most part. Center of the Universe, very good generic one that you can take in any comp. Usually you want to put this backline in the middle. So let's see. So like, let's say, I don't know, you're playing Scrap. Like you can just put in Gangplank in here and then it's going to hit the all 5 of these units over here, I believe. So let's say you have a bunch of Amumus as just placeholders for tanks. I believe it'll hit all of these. If you put your Center of the Universe in the corner, then it only hits like a few units. Although if you have like a Twitch, for example, then it will expand the range for when he's doing his ult. So he'll actually hit the whole backline, which is why Center of the Universe is especially good on Twitch. But for the most part, you want to put it middle. I actually had a game where the difference between middle and corner loss was like fight diff. And this was for a quite important game. So really make sure it's in the middle. But you want to make sure that it's also ideally on your secondary carry, not on your primary carry, unless it's like Twitch. I think it basically Twitch is the only one that I think you want to put corner. Because usually corner safer for your primary carry and secondary carry in the middle is fine. Dramatic Entrance gives your, basically gives you team CC, which is extremely valuable. This is like having a Victor on your board. You usually don't want to put it on your main tank unless you have like a strong secondary tank. The 55% increased health does help if you have this unit itemized. But if your whole team dies before this happens, like it's just not worth the trade-off of putting it on your main tank. So usually you put it on a secondary off tank, or it can frankly go on any trait bot that's not really doing much. Infectious Anomaly got nerfed from 15 AD AP to 12 AD AP for 13.5. But it still seems like it's quite strong if you have the HP lead to allow your team to scale over time. Last Chance, I believe this was nerfed. Yeah, Last Chance is nerfed. Very good on melee carries. Urgot reroll, Smeech reroll, Echo, all very good. Ultimate Hero, Singed Hero Augment and Aurelia Hero Augment were buffed in 13.5. So any 1-cost Hero Augment, this is going to be really good. Violet reroll, very good. If you're playing like Wait But Why, or not Wait But Why, what is that? Worth the Wait. Um, this could be playable if you, well, I guess in that case you want to survive to get to 4 star anyway, so maybe you don't want to do that. Um, but this is very situational. Brutal Claws, very just high value from the crit. And I believe this should also give your unit crit, so you don't need IE or JG. If someone can confirm that in the comments, that would be really helpful. So good for like ambushers, good for Twitch, just anybody that needs crit, it's good for. Stone Skin, very, very good on Urgot reroll, good on basically any melee 3-star carry. Is, I believe, essentially BIS for that scenario. Nothing Wasted, extremely good for AP backline carries. Very good on Jinx, good on Zoe. Yeah, just any AP carry. Deep Roots, very good, just solid generic augment. Can be put on melee carries, could also just be put on your main tank. Keep in mind that when you put this on them, they won't move. So usually if it's on your main tank, you probably want to just put them in the middle, because it could really cause some weird wrapping to occur if you don't do that. Strength training, just solid AD augment, especially good if you have Rage Blade. So that's why it's good with Tristana, Zeri, and Twitch. It just scales the AD of your team really quickly. Attack Expert, gain a lot of AD, so particularly good for Tristana since Tristana scales her AD over time, and good for units that just want more AD. Kill Streak, similar to Nothing Wasted, pretty much all the same units want it. It's a one exception is Jinx. Jinx doesn't really kill units in a discrete manner or continuous manner. It's like very much discrete. And what I mean by that is she'll like kind of burst down all the units at once. This is a little bit better if you kill one unit at a time. It's also significantly better if you have a primary carry that deals most of your team's damage because you only get the mana on kill. So if you have like dual carry and your second carry is stealing all of your AP carries kills, then they don't benefit from this anomaly. Cold a Week, gain a bunch of crit chance, is good for ambushers. Force of Friendship, good for reroll. Mini-Me's, very good for, I believe this is also good for Tristana, but good for the AD lines. Comeback Story, very good generic anomaly. Even if you are not at low HP, this is solid because eventually you will get to low HP, or you just win, right? So like you, either way, that's insurance. And damage amp is oftentimes hard to come by. Fortified, solid, generic tank augment, particularly good with Garen, but also works really well with Sentinels since they already have a lot of armor magic resist. Good with Bruisers too since they scale with HP. Giant Sized, extremely good. Like these two are useful, generally the same purposes. Very good on Garen. Bulwark, very good on Urgot reroll, and generally good on melee carries. Not good on Sentinels, since Sentinels already have a lot of armor MR. 1000 Cuts, good on units that attack a lot. So usually Rage Blade holders. So Kog'Maw, because Kog'Maw will get to like 5.0 attack speed reasonably quick, and Twitch with Rage Blade, his Spray and Pray, the 8 attacks scales the Rage Blade faster, so they'll start being able to spam the 1000 Cuts a lot. Slow Cooker, I haven't really taken this much. Every second, deal magic damage and 1 hex radius equals to 3% of their max health. This is probably very situational, which is why Spencer has Rennie and Nunu listed here. It's probably primarily if you're playing 3-star Rennie, 3-star Nunu line, like with like Rennie Hero Augment, Brutal Revenge, I believe. With Trifecta being buffed in 13.5, there may be more 3 cost reroll lines opening up, which this may open up this slow cooker for running 3. Freestyling, similar to, what was it? Comeback Story. It's just like another solid damage amp augment. And with the change to diversified portfolio, the silver econ augment, that gives you way more gold than the pre-nerf fire sale did. If you are already playing diversified portfolio, you have, let's say you have bronze for life, then this synergizes really well because you're already going to be playing a lot of non-unique traits. Voracious Appetite got nerfed. Asa kind of thinks that this is just not going to be good, and that Riot balanced around this mostly statistically, which you're only taking this if you're high HP anyway. This is like Briar's Anomaly from last set. So yeah, just mostly this is a not take. This is like a win when you're already ahead, and even if you take this, even if you took something else, you might have already gotten first place anyway. So yeah, and it's very specific to like, I think it probably works out really well with like, let's say an Urgot 3 or a Smeech 3. But yeah, very situational and likely not very good, especially after the nerf. Hive Mind, I believe this was bugged. Maybe it's just, at least from the 1 or 2 times I played it, I think it's bugged in giving you the first copy that is killed after you select Anomaly. I'm not sure if it's still bugged or if it was fixed in 13.5. If you happen to know, please comment in the description. I'd appreciate that. Magic Training gets scaling AP. Heimerdinger was actually buffed in 13.5, and if you have blue buff on Heimer, this is also just generally good on Visionary because Visionaries are going to cast a lot, and then Visionaries also lack AP, so this is a perfect Visionary Anomaly. Ideally, you want to put it on a low mana cost user, so that's why Heimer's going to be significantly better than like Malzahar. Also why Mel is good because she's 40 mana. Bully, another just solid damage amp. You can see that damage amp is just generally all pretty solid in A tier here because it's just hard to get damage amp from other sources. And when you've already gotten a lot of AP, you've gotten a lot of other stats, then damage amp really gives your carry multiplicative scaling and value. Legacy of Shurima, solid on your melee carries. Knockout, just solid AD on Camille specifically, because she casts a lot. Her mana is low at 25. So this is one of Camille reroll's best anomalies, although Camille is just not very good as a carry right now, so I mostly would never take this. I'm not even playing Camille in the first place. Dragon Soul, mainly good on Twitch because Twitch's ability causes him to just spray and pray and hits like a bunch of random enemies, which causes them all to get 20% max health true damage. Dual wielding, this is just a very good generic anomaly, going back to what we talked about, generic stuff, give you items. Quite good in scrap because it gives you 4 components times 50 is 200 shield for each of your units, which I think is like equivalent to some like silver or gold augment in value. Titanic Strikes, get more AD, just especially good on Twitch because Twitch is just spraying and praying across the board. Share Your Energy, also very good generic because it's just a lot of value, especially good in vertical traits that give your team some of these stats. So let's say Sentinels, Rebels, Conquerors, Sorcerers, like any trait that gives the whole team whatever the stats are, these stats, AD, AP, HP, armor, magic resist, will benefit. So just to summarize kind of the really good generic one, Center of the Universe, even though it was nerfed, Dramatic Entrance, Infectious Anomaly are all good generic ones. Especially if you don't have your primary carry or tank yet. What else? Dual wielding to just get more items, and share your energy. These are all like very solid generic anomalies in case you don't have them yet. All right, so let's go into units. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm gonna go through the ones that are kind of like in the meta right now. So Heimer, I believe will be solid next patch. You just want more mana or magic trainings to get. This can basically replace an Archangel for Heimer. So if you happen to have a lot of mana, I suspect you can even do double mana like Blue Buff Shojin if you do have this. Twitch is not really in the meta. Like we talked about Twitch a bunch. For Emissary was buffed, so anything that gives Garen HP, he'll benefit from his Emissary bonus. Buy good melee ones. Tristana reroll any of the AD ones. What else? Zeri reroll a lot of the AD ones. Corki, Center of the Universe, combat like damage amp. Zoe, mana ones, and Touch of Frost. Touch of Frost was actually buffed, and it was good on Twitch. So Twitch actually should mention Touch of Frost is actually solid. After the buff, it was buffed. The stun went for 13.5 from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. So both Twitch and Zoe hit backline, and if you could chill your enemy backline carry, that's quite good. And especially if their backline carry is adjacent to another unit that you killed and they're stunned. So if you're playing against someone that has Touch of Frost, make sure that your backline units are not clumped. Because if a trait bot backline unit next to your primary carry gets killed, then your primary carry gets stunned. What else is in meta? Smeech. So Last Chance, Cold the Weak, Brutal Claws, all very strong. Urgot, you want to have a tank anomaly. Stone Skin is best for him. Deep Roots also very good, especially if you don't have QSS. Just make sure. Well, you don't really have optionality on where you place him, but yeah, more armor, magic resist, more HP, like just stuff that gives Urgot more tankiness is very good. What else is in meta? Oh, Ambessa got buffed in 13.5, so Last Chance, Diving In, Damage Amp, all solid on Ambessa. Echo, Brutal Claws for the additional crit. Stone Skin, Bulwark, more armor MR. Touch of Frost on Echo is actually okay because he does, with his ability, his after images deal damage to 2 other units and sometimes can get backline access. And if you have Firelight activated, it is more value with Touch of Frost because then sometimes he can jump to backline. What else? Singed with the Hero Augment got buffed in 13.5, so Stone Skin can be solid. Well, actually, since he's like kind of not taking aggro, I guess you could just solo frontline him if you have Stone Skin. Could be good. Protective shielding very solid, especially if you're playing vertical sentinels. Deep Roots you don't want with the Hero Augment. Ultimate Hero quite good with the Hero Augment. More HP. Rel in Renata reroll with any of these HP ones. Sentinels in general just want more HP since they already have a bunch of armor magic resist. And then the Titans of Friendship, I believe maybe could be A tier now after the buff. So if you get like 6 Sentinel or 4 Sentinel with one of these HP things, then building a Steadfast Heart on Rel would be quite good. All right, what else? I think we covered most of the meta stuff. LeBlanc also has backline access, so Touch of Frost on her's quite strong. And nothing wasted because she kills units. Elise, just more HP. Renata, Fireball is quite good because she's gonna cast a lot, and because of the attack speed from Singed, A lot of times when you're playing Renata reroll, you don't have anti-heal, and so this can replace anti-heal and deals a lot of damage. Damage amp, also quite good. Nami, Twisted Fate, okay. Yeah, so that covers pretty much all of the anomalies. I hope you found this anomaly analysis helpful. If you have additional thoughts, questions, comments, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.